Hey our friends, today we're going to draw the Air Force logo.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope you're going to follow along with us. You need your drawing supplies. For this lesson, we're going to use a pencil first, and then all we need is a blue marker.
Yeah,
to fill it in. But you could use something different if you want. You could use a colored pencil or even a crayon. You also need some
paper and something to
color with.
color with.
You ready to start?
Yes.
First, let's draw the star down here at the bottom of our paper so that we have room for the wings above. So we're going to start by drawing an upside down V right in the middle of our paper. Oh, I'm going to scoot it over a little bit, but towards the bottom so that we have room for those wings. I want to change it. I want to move it a little more over to the right so that it feels like it's more in the center. And then you can use your eraser to erase any guidelines you don't want to keep. The other thing you could use for this lesson is a ruler, because all of the lines are straight, well, except for one circle.
Yeah.
But let's draw it freehand. We're going to next draw a line. It turns the upside down V kind of into the letter A, and it's not going right through the middle. It's a little higher. Then we're going to connect all of these lines. So I'm going to connect from here down to there, and then we're going to connect here over to here. You can make changes or adjust your star so that each of these triangles or the points are equal. So mine looks a little bit different, like this one looks a little smaller, so I'm going to work on the star just a little bit to try to make these points equal in size. Now that we have our stars just the way that we want them, we're going to add a circle in the middle. I'm going to draw it about this big, and we don't want the circle to, I'm going to go over it a couple times. There we go. And I'm pressing firmly so that it shows up more on camera, but you guys can press lightly so it's easier to erase. Now let's draw the wings that go around the star. First, we're going to extend this line up further, maybe to about there. And then we want to extend the other side also to about there. I'm going to erase these just so that they're a little bit shorter. I don't want them to be as long. Yeah, and then we're going to draw the same diagonal line, but a lot longer. So we're going to start from the top of the star, and we're going to draw a diagonal line that comes up to maybe about there. And we'll do that same diagonal line on the other side. This would be a fun lesson to use a ruler.
Yeah.
There we go. And then you could also measure these lines to try to make them equal because it's symmetrical, meaning if you split it right down the middle and fold it, it would be the same.
Yeah, same on both sides.
Yeah, same on both sides. Okay, now we can also connect. Let's connect this line to here, and then we're going to connect this side down also. Oh, I love the Air Force logo. It's so cool. Now we're going to draw a guide point right about here. So we're going to draw it right in the middle. We come straight down, and there's a guide point. And then we're going to draw another diagonal line that cuts right through the bottom points. And we want these diagonal lines to match these lines. See how all of these diagonal lines match in the same direction. And the little point on the end of the star, we're going to cut that off so it goes right through it. Yeah. And then let's connect right here. We're going to connect the tail into the star on both sides. It's starting to look like the Air Force logo.
Yeah.
It's looking so cool. Next, let's draw the tip of the wing. We're going to draw a diagonal line coming in on both sides. We want these to match the same angle and also the same length. I'm going to maybe tip this one, not as much, trying to match this angle over here. Then let's draw another diagonal line that comes down from the tip to, it's not the middle of the wing, but it comes down pretty far. Now it seems like the wings are made out of stripes, so let's draw another guideline right here. So draw one coming through, and then we can draw that same guideline here. This is going to separate this little triangle shape from the rest of the wing. And then we're going to draw from the corner of the star, we're going to draw one line that splits the wing right down the middle. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Then we're going to add another diagonal line. We want this, see the distance between these two lines?
Yes.
We're going to do that same distance right here. And this lesson is a little challenging, but you're doing a great job, Jack.
Thank you.
And it's okay if our two drawings look different. They're both turning out awesome. And that's because,
The most important thing is to have fun.
yeah, and to
Practice.
Practice. It's okay if your drawings look different too. The most important thing is to practice and have fun.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going. Now we're ready to switch to our eraser. And we're going to erase some of the guidelines that we don't need. So first, let's start up here on the top of our wing. And we're going to erase the guidelines so that this triangle is completely separate from the rest of the wing. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. And when I'm looking at these two triangles, this one looks a lot smaller, and this one over here is a lot bigger. So I'm going to change it so that they're the same size, or closer to the same size. And that's the nice thing about using a pencil, is you can really take the extra time to change your lines to get them just the way you want them before we use our marker. Nice. Now let's also erase here in between these two stripes. And we can do the same over here. Then we're going to erase the top of our star. And let's also erase a lot of the guidelines with the star. So follow me. We're going to erase first right here. This little line on the left point. And then we're going to erase the little line here on the right point. This separates the wings from the tail. Okay, now let's erase the guidelines inside of the star. We want to keep the circle, but erase all of the straight lines that go through the star. So I've erased the ones going through the top. Yeah, and you went around the whole thing. So we're going to also erase the bottom around the circle and over here. So when we're all done, we should just see the circle floating inside of the star. Yeah, and then let's erase the bottom points to the star on the left side and also on the right. And this logo is actually one of my favorite logos. And one of the reasons why is because I love the overall shape, but I feel like the star is kind of hidden when it's all finished. It's actually called the negative space, or that's another word for the space that's in between the shapes. Okay, now let's switch to our blue marker. Let's start up here at the top, and we're going to trace over the pencil line, the guidelines. And let's just trace over all of the pencil lines, all of the guidelines with our fine tip. We're using our Art for Kids Hub alcohol-based marker, but remember, you can use something completely different. You could use a different brand of alcohol-based markers. You could use different markers altogether. You could also use colored pencils or even crayons. Okay, this part we're going to speed up, but you can pause the video and take extra time to outline all of the pencil guidelines. Oh, and I see one more guideline we need to erase. It's in between these two stripes where the star is.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. There we go. Okay, now let's speed things up.
Okay.
Nice job, we got it completely outlined. Now let's switch from our fine tip marker to the chisel side of the marker and fill in all of these shapes.
Okay.
We're gonna speed it up again, so remember to pause the video. All right, we finished filling in all of the shapes. The last thing we're going to do is switch to our eraser and erase all of the guidelines or the pencil lines that you can still see. And if you want to, you could also use a white colored pencil. This is a Prismacolor colored pencil. And you could use this to straighten out some of the lines or even make some of the gaps in between the shapes a little bit bigger. This can go on top of the marker. And some of the places where I went outside of the shape, you can go in and add this white colored pencil on top of it to kind of, it's almost like erasing. Not quite though, because you can still see a little bit of the blue. And we did it! We finished drawing and coloring the Air Force logo, and it turned out awesome.
Yeah, it did.
I think the next time I draw this, I'm gonna draw it a lot bigger.
Yes.
Especially like yours.
Thanks.
And I also really like that the star is completely just made out of the empty space in between the shapes, or the negative space.
Yeah, I really like the wings and the shape of the whole logo.
Yeah, it turned out really cool.
We hope you have fun drawing the Air Force logo.
We do. We hope you had a lot of fun. And we also want to give a special thank you to all of the armed forces. We're super grateful for all of your service. And we'll see you later, our friends.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.